Maina Kamanda has said, wait for this one, that ODM and specifically Raila Odinga saved Uhuru Kenyatta from impeachment by the DP Ruto camp. In other words, a looming impeachment motion that was going to succeed, engineered by Deputy President William Samoei Ruto, is the single event, the single most important thing that forced the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. Now, of course, the immediate question that comes to mind is why on earth would the Deputy President want to impeach the President, or at least organize in the background a plan to impeach the President immediately after they had won the general elections? Because this drama unfolded in early 2018. You'll remember the elections in 2017 dragged on until almost the end of the year because there was a repeat election in October. The repeat election plus swearing in plus settling in, etc., etc. So early 2018 was very early in the new re-elected administration. Why would Ruto want to impeach the president then? Now, to answer that question, we must go back. And we must go back to the year 2016. In 2016, I had retired from politics. I had completely retired from political commentary. After 11 solid years of the Kumekucha brand, of living a life of always looking over my shoulder, political commentary, at least the kind I do, is dangerous. So after all those years, I was determined to settle down to a normal life, to give my family a break, to create an environment where they could live a normal life without all the elaborate security-related measures I used to take to survive. And at that time, I drifted very far away from Almighty God, so I didn't know what His plans were. So, God forces things. If you can't listen, He creates circumstances where you will have no alternative but to go in the direction He wants you to go. And that's exactly what happened. Anyway, in 2016, I was out of politics. In fact, I avoided politics. And sometimes my old contacts would call me and they tell me, Chris, unajua, this is what's happening. Are you sure you're in retirement? And I would get annoyed, despite the very valuable information they were giving me. And I would try and ask them, what language do they not understand about the word permanent retirement? Anyway, one of these pieces of information I received was that there was a major breakup. By the way, this was in 2016. There was a major breakup, very serious breakup between President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto. Now, despite being annoyed at being disturbed in my retirement, this information piqued my curiosity. I was shocked. How did that happen? These people are brothers. And my impeccable source told me that the reason has to do with the 2022 elections. And I asked them, are you crazy? What are you talking about 2022? Jubilee has not even gone through the 2017 elections. Why are they already thinking about the 2022 elections? And my source responded, Chris, you've covered politics for many years. You know what happens. Jubilee are not worried about the 2017 elections. They'll be re-elected. And that conversation ended, and I went back to my life, away from the stress of politics. In late 2016, I was back in politics. And that's a story for another day. But one of the first things I noticed when I landed back in active politics was the body language between the president and his deputy. It had changed very dramatically. Everything I saw seemed to confirm what this impeccable source had told me. And then in January, the president's mother, Maina Kamanda, visited retired President Daniel Arap Moi. I covered that visit in great detail on this channel. This channel was then very new. Just a few subscribers. This was January 2017. Then in February 19th, 2017, real drama. Deputy President William Samoei Ruto turned up for a meeting with people like Johnson Sakaja and Moses Kuria and others, other Jubilee insiders, at a butchery. Yes, you got me right. At a butchery in Dagoretti Corner. Now, this was a very strange meeting because, for starters, the deputy president turned up alone. No security detail, no chase cars, nothing. He was just with his son. His son was driving him. Now, prior to this meeting, the deputy president, after being very actively around at functions, etc., had vanished for almost a week. There were even rumors that he was ailing. And around that time, I had also received earlier, before that date, some very interesting information from an impeccable source that a lot of the security detail assigned to the deputy president had been withdrawn. Now, of course, I had no reason to doubt the information that had been given when I was in retirement, that there was a problem between the president and his deputy. However, it is quite a good thing when you realize the information that you've been given, you start to see other telltale signs that confirm it. Now, somehow, the press got wind of this curious secret meeting, because that's what it was. And they appeared at the butchery. Of course, they couldn't enter to listen to the deliberations. But when Sakaja emerged, he gave some excuses about them celebrating somebody's birthday. But my instincts told me this was a meeting to negotiate. This was a very important negotiation meeting. And this was confirmed by the body language of the participants during this meeting. With this background, let's now cut to the chase. It is clear at some point that the presidential insiders finally prevailed on President Uhuru Kenyatta to be wary of Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. You see, until the departure of Ruto from the inner circle, he was really the president of Kenya. President Uhuru Kenyatta was a ceremonial president. Ruto made all the major decisions, or rather the president did not make any major decision without input from his deputy. And most of the time he went with the input from the deputy. And that input from the deputy put his own key figures, key allies, in very strategic positions all over the country. He also had complete control over parliament, both houses. He was the real power behind the throne. And by being sidelined, he must have known that this sidelining included also being sidelined from being supported for his 2022 presidential bid. But the deputy president is a fighter, and so he fought back. And this neatly explains his insistence on campaigning for 2022 and ignoring directives from his boss, the president, to stop tangatangaing all over the country, campaigning. And now it is also clear that one of the other methods of fighting back by the deputy president was to engineer or to try and engineer an impeachment motion against the president. Because the truth is, even if it was you, just imagine you are Ruto, you would treat this presidency as yours. If you had done all the things Ruto did to make the Uhuru Kenyatta presidency possible against great odds. Now, Maina Kamanda did not tell us exactly when this impeachment effort was attempted. Most people will assume that it was after the general elections. However, I look at it differently. There's another possibility. It is very possible that this impeachment attempt was made in late 2016. And my theory is that this is what triggered the fallout between the president and his deputy. And the meeting in Dagoretti was a meeting for truce, and to negotiate how they were going to keep up appearances ahead of the general elections. But even as they went through the general elections, with all the controversies and repeat elections, etc., at the back of his mind, the deputy president knew that this battle would have to be revisited after the new government settled in. And therefore my theory is that both sides, the deputy president and the president, were fighting for Raila's attention and Raila's support up until the handshake on March 9th. And this would also explain the personal bitterness that the deputy president seems to have against Raila, because it's personal. And we know the deputy president is a very emotional person. He was bitter that Raila chose Uhuru instead of choosing Ruto and drama. You can imagine what kind of drama would have unfolded in our country had Raila gone the Ruto side. Well, I can tell you one thing. Raila has known President Uhuru Kenyatta for a much longer time than he has known DP William Ruto. Raila used to play with Uhuru when they were kids. He was the older kid, of course, and used to carry Uhuru on his back and was very protective of Uhuru. And don't forget, Raila knows a lot, much more than you and me, about what really happened in 2007 during the unfortunate clashes. And is very much aware of what role Ruto played in that chaos, and what role the president was also playing in that chaos. And I have a feeling that piece of information informed his judgment of deciding to go with Uhuru. What? This is quite a bit of information, and it's quite startling, if I must say so. My advice is that you take a moment to digest it, and then analyze all the events that have been unfolding in Kenya, and it all makes sense. So had Raila gone with Ruto, prior to March 9th, 2018, would have had a very historical impeachment motion in Parliament, fully supported by the Ruto side, and all his influence, and of course fully supported by NASA. At least most of NASA, because in such a situation, you expect sellouts. That's very normal in politics. But whichever way you look at it, it would have gone through. Because contrary to what most people think, impeachments don't go through because of the legal weight, of the accusations or the reasons for the impeachment. No way. It usually goes through because of the numbers. It's just a judgment of a president or a deputy president by his peers. That is all it is. And people get confused because in the United States, it's very different. Because the president of the Supreme Court, is the one who presides over impeachments. So the legal angle has to be very strong. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.